hills and valleys will come to draw from the stream of knowledge. Our duty is to succeed, learning and service. Excellence is our goal. Ahmadu, Bello, University. Yeah, our dreams we shall achieve. We give thanks to Almighty Allah. In Him we derive our strength. We dutifully shall obey and the ways of good learning. North to south, east to west, your name shall always be. Ahmadu, Bello, University, a citadel of greatness.
Will you please be seated? Indeed, Ahmadu Bello University of Zaria. Of this occasion, members of the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, having paid allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria by observing the national anthem, and of course to our alma mater, the Ahmadu Bello University, our premier university, by observing the ABU anthem, it is also necessary to hand this program in terms of prayers to the God Almighty for His guidance. And I have the honor for this opening prayers to invite the Director, Center for Islamic Legal Studies, Sheikh Dr. Muhammad Saad Abubakar, to please lead us in the opening prayers. Director, please.
In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to Allah, the Lord of the world, the beneficent, the merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we seek for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those whom you favored, nor of those who earn your anger, and nor of those who have gone astray. We thank you, Almighty Allah, for ending the founding fathers of this great university.
The acting university librarian, Dr. Abubakar Abdullahi Muhammad. So you are most welcome. The Provost Postgraduate College, Professor M.N. Shuaib, is ably represented by the Deputy Provost Postgraduate College, Professor Dalhat Idris. Let me also recognize and introduce the presence of the Dean, Student Affairs Division, Professor Sahalu Junaid. Excited, the Director, Institute of Administration, who is the host, Chairman, Conference Organizing Committee, Professor Abubakar. But I will reserve it. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to recognize the presence of our keynote guest speaker, Professor Dr. Ahmad Matada bin Muhammad, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs, University Utara, Malaysia. I think he's joining us here. The lead paper presenter one is Professor Professor Sheikh A. Abdullah, OON, Emeritus Professor of Business Administration and Finance, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. For our young ones, former Minister, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Federal Republic of Nigeria. The lead paper presenter too is no other than Mrs. Khadija Haliru of Leadership and Policy Expert, Ontario, Canada. I think she's going to join us via Zoom. As we anticipate the arrival of our royal father, the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Mala Ahmed Nubamali, we wait maybe his representation or himself. So we'll be with that. Let me also recognize the director whom he has presented himself just now, Center for Islamic Legal Studies, Dr. Saad Musa Abubakar. This is a Congo affair, mind you. Yes. Let me also recognize the presence of the Director, Institute of Education, Professor A.M. Jumari, who is ably represented by Dr. Yunusa Husseini. Of course, we should show gratefulness or appreciation, and which necessitated that I should or must not forget the Director, CBN Center for Economic and Finance, Professor Awon Haruna, whose venue we are currently using. The Executive Director,
Father, Ambassador Ahmadu Bamalir, ably represented by Garkuan Ayokan Zazzau. Guest speaker, Professor, our lead paper presenters, led by our father, Sheikh Ahmad Muhammad Madaki, the acting librarian, Dr. Abubakar Abdullah Muhammad, other dignitaries on the high table, our professors, heads of departments, deans and directors, our distinguished students, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a lot of pleasure that the Vice Chancellor at this very auspicious occasion, first international conference organized by our Institute of. I wish to use this opportunity to congratulate the Institute led by the Director for this wonderful initiative. It's better late than never. This is one of the major obligations of a university, to gather intellectuals to debate on the way forward. The theme of this conference, as broad as it is, I think defines the essence of humanity in my view. Governance, management, and law for sustainable development. I think many of us are very familiar with the concept of governance, particularly as it pertains to human existence, defining the rules.
Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Our esteemed keynote speakers and lead paper presenters, deans, directors, provosts, heads of departments, the chairman of the conference planning committee, distinguished professors and other scholars here seated, participants and colleagues from Nigeria, our dear grade students, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and very warm greetings to all of you. It is with great gratitude that I accept the honor of serving as chairman of the occasion at this very significant international conference. But let me join the director in welcoming all our local and international participants to this great conference. I would like to thank you most sincerely for honoring this event with your dignified presence. Your participation gives meaning and momentum to the exciting conversations that are going to take place in this hall. Your Royal Highness, the Emir of Zazzau, once again, we are deeply honored by your royal presence. Indeed, you are a symbol of enduring tradition and enlightened leadership. At the same time, a proud and a distinguished product of the Institute. The Honorable Minister, once again, we are also very, very pleased to have you sit here. And now, permit me to be personal for a moment. I wish to extend special gratitude to my mentor, Professor Sheikh Ahmadu, my dean, my director, and above all, my lifelong leader. From you, I have learned lessons, not only of the classroom, but of life. Thank you, sir. And it is in this light that I will want to enjoin all of you, to record the wisdom that is going to flow from Professor Sheikh Ahmad Abdullah, and indeed other scholars that are going to speak to you at this event. It has the host and the chief host have already set the tone, for the kind of conference that we are going to have. The conference is very well loaded. The team, as it has been iterated, governance, management, and law for sustainable development, interdisciplinary perspective, and innovation could not be more apt, could not be more urgent for the situation that we are in, both locally and globally. We are all living in a time when governance models are being tested, legal frameworks are being strained, and management systems are being redefined. And very often by forces that are far beyond the traditional purview of any single discipline. In fact, the much talked about climate change, which was referred to by the dean or by the director, rising global inequality, digital disruption, landscape of sustainable development, which is a major component of this conference, across communities.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister, our Vice Chancellor, all members of the High Table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will agree.
Professor Ahmad Matada bin Muhammad, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs and Alumni, and Professor of Public Administration at the prestigious School of Government, University Utara, Malaysia. Professor Matada's academic journey is as impressive as it is inspiring. He holds a PhD in Politics and Administration since 2004, following a Master's of Public Administration in 1996 and a bachelor degree in Political Science, all from United States of America. Credentials that mark the foundation of a lifelong commitment to excellence in scholarship, policy, and public leadership. His research portfolio spans with a tribe of widely referenced publications that continue to shape discourse and practice across borders. As head of the Government and Integrity Cluster in the College of Law, Government and International Studies.
Talk a little bit on population-wise. Malaysia, 35 million, slightly a little bit more. which comprises of Bumiputra, or what we call native people, Malays and other native groups in Peninsula and in Borneo, Sabah and Sarawak make up around 63%. Chinese is around 21%, Indian 6%, and the rest is 10%. So basically, Malaysia is a multiracial, multicultural society, and we have been living with this diverse demographic group since independence, which we gained in 1957. Let me talk briefly about the economic outlook of the country. This is based on last year's performance. Last year, population was 34%, and this year it increases to 35%, a bit more. Our GDP for last year was 5.1%, which was slightly better compared to after COVID-19. In 2018, our GDP was only 3.6, and after COVID-19, it was less. And slowly and steadily, our GDP has increased from 3.6% up to 8.9% 2022, but a little bit slow in 2023, and it rose again in 2024. Inflation stands currently at 1.8%, unemployment at 3.2%. This is something that the country is grappling with, unemployment, especially for the graduates of university. They tend to say that job opportunities are not as many as before. So government is trying very hard to ensure that foreign direct investment is coming to Malaysia, and also domestic investment is also being highly encouraged to make sure more job opportunities are available for university graduates. And currently, we also have low percentage of skilled workers. And at the same time, we also tend to rely more on foreign labor, especially on unskilled laborers that tend to work normally in plantation and also in building construction. And this is a graphic caption of Malaysia's economy. And as I have mentioned earlier, our GDP and our household income, median, minimum, Gini index, and balance of trade, we have a positive balance of trade. Yet our debt is quite high. Currently stands at 60% of our GDP, external debt, and our inflation is current. This was 2 years ago at 3.8%, and is slightly lower than that in last year. Let me talk briefly about the GDP growth of ASEAN member states from 2019 to 2024. As you can see here, as a whole, top 5 Asian countries, the GDP is 4.6%. And if you look at specifically, Brunei 3.4, Cambodia 6.2, Indonesia 5.0, Laos 4, Malaysia 4, Myanmar, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and Singapore. If you were to look closely at the distribution of GDP among ASEAN members, you will notice that smaller developing countries like Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, these have been the target of a lot of foreign direct investment. One of the reasons being the low labor cost. That's why in ASEAN in particular, you will find that a lot of industries are moving out from Singapore, from Malaysia, and also from countries that have a high labor cost to countries that have low labor cost. Have also been experiencing a lot of issues where industries have closed down their factories, and also Korea and Japan. So this is in a way of making sure that whatever is taking place in the world, especially in regard to the production of tariff, will not badly affect the economy of developing countries in ASEAN. If we were to look at this risk faced by countries in the world, we might come across issues that continue to be affected very hard. For example, 10 years ago, extreme weather continued to cause a lot of disruption to countries in the world. Biodiversity loss, critical change, natural resource shortages. But currently, the issues of misinformation, cyber espionage, and warfare, inequality, societal polarization, pollution, erosion of human rights continue to confront a lot of countries in the world, and Malaysia is also not an exception to that. Now we have been facing a lot of crises based on issues such as inequality, cyber espionage, pollution, and natural resource shortages. So all of these crises and risks faced by the world has also been an issue confronting Malaysia. And if we were to look at the global risk scenario again in terms of political, military, being the deteriorating ties between China and America and European Union, geopolitical tensions that causes nuclear arms race, war in Ukraine that turn into global conflict because as we know, Ukraine is the major producer of a lot of food products, and when Ukraine is having a conflict between Russia, it temporarily halts the production of food and thereby causing food shortage throughout the world. And recently, cyber war continued to be an issue facing a lot of countries. Conflict that continues to take place between China and Taiwan. This is not a current issue. It has been going on for some time. And also extreme weather and war in Ukraine, from famine, high inflation, aggressive infectious disease emerges, for example, like COVID-19 and other current diseases that are spreading rapidly throughout the world. And these are all global risk scenarios that impact a lot of countries, including Malaysia. And this is also some of the issues in regard to policy continuity. It is in short-term political risk. Government has taken steps to make sure that our policy-making process continue to take into consideration the crisis that is going on, because first and foremost, social stability is important. Safety net has needed to be protected, and making sure that our border is safe from any external threat. So in a way, government needs to continue whatever policies that are working in terms of protecting the citizen from any social and political threat. Let me talk briefly about Malaysia. We are very lucky, fortunately, because we have been trading with all over the world. Our policy is always based on the ideology of neutrality. We have not made an enemy in the world. Our policy is foreign policy is always open for any country that has different ideology. So we are making friends with North Korea, we are making friends with socialist countries, we are making friends with a lot of countries in the world, despite the fact that ideology and other things are very different from our country. And we are also lucky because it's independent, our government is always pro-business. This is in a way of making sure that our economy and politics is stable. Our GDP growth continue to rise steadily. Per capita income is at 9,000 USD. Our banking system is fundamentally strong, and our legal system is based on the British system, and it is stable. Quality of work, quality of life is quite good in Malaysia. A lot of people are coming to Malaysia, whether to visit or to stay permanently, and our industries are also diligently working to ensure that our products are consistent with the global standards such as ISO, and government has continued to improve all the facilities and infrastructure that are conducive to the foreign investors in Malaysia, such as ports, road, railways, airport, and also making sure that internet connection, Wi-Fi connection is good. Let me talk briefly about what are the impact that all this global crisis face, including Malaysia. And one of the main impact, of course, is on socio-economic. And we have seen quite a significant drop in tourism and hospitality industry. The number of tourists coming to Malaysia has dropped, not at the alarming level, but has dropped maybe because of this global crisis. Foreign trade, stock market is inconsistent, consumer spending is down, inflation is high, and domestic demand is also low. And Malaysia tend to rely heavily on commodity prices, but when the global crisis causes the fluctuation of commodity prices, so it in a way causes a decline in revenue for the country. And it's also one of the critical issues facing Malaysia is unsustainable food security. Because Malaysia tends to rely heavily on foreign food production. So when it comes to global crises such as what is taking place between war in Ukraine and Russia, we tend to import a lot of food products from Russia. So this in a way causes severe shortages in terms of food production. And this is the grim reality of global risk impact. We have seen our government has cut a lot of spending, especially on unnecessary items. Recession continues to be a talk among citizens. The external market volatility also causes a significant drop in economic issues, new global trade orders, and government has taken a lot of steps to ensure that the country continues to prepare in terms of global crisis. So government has taken measures to strengthen economic resilience by introducing stimulus package through subsidies, sustain by making sure our financial sector is strong, and promoting investment and looking into new sources of growth and reprioritizing projects. So what are the challenges facing Malaysia and ASEAN in general? I'm sure a lot of countries in ASEAN have felt the impact of economic slowdown, have felt the impact of the introduction of tariff, have also felt the impact of global crisis, especially a regional war between Ukraine and Russia, between Iran and Israel, and also the economic hardship that is currently taking place in throughout the world. And Malaysia, being the chairman of ASEAN, has started a lot of reforms, a lot of initiative to push for a big role of ASEAN in the international agenda. And first and foremost is, of course, to pursue the integration agenda, to make sure that digital economy in ASEAN become the main agenda, and to make sure that infrastructure gap, especially in terms of healthcare, telecommunication, logistics, green technology, become the main agenda of every country. So my final thought on this issue is on policy recommendation. Based upon what I have discussed earlier, I'm sure everybody realizes that Malaysian government has indeed introduced a lot of reforms at addressing a lot of issues facing the country, especially in light of, before I end, migrant crisis that is taking place nowadays. In fact, a lot of effort has been taken by the government to improve administration, to improve economy, and also social and political system. These are done to ensure that citizens continue to live comfortably, to ensure that our country is protected from any external threats, and to make sure that the objective of the government, high income status by the year 2030, can be realized objectively and based upon the predicted goal that has been set upon by the earlier leaders. Before I end my presentation today, again, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to the organizer and to all the participants who are attending this conference physically or online. I wish everyone the best, and I hope that everybody will gain something not only from my presentation but also the presentation of other distinguished speakers. Before I end, let me again reiterate, Malaysia is a developing country. It is moving nicely towards achieving a developed nation status by the year 2030. And Malaysia is also a beautiful country. It has beautiful beaches. It has people comprising of diverse group of population. It is very peaceful, safe, and I would encourage everyone who has not been to Malaysia to come and visit Malaysia. I'm sure everybody will enjoy Malaysia with nice weather, excellent, delicious foods that are available, and many attractive places to be visited. Please do come and visit Malaysia, and hopefully you will enjoy spending time in Malaysia. And I wish everyone the best. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Honorable Minister of State Works, Federal Ministry of Works, Barrister Ahmadu Bello, the Chief Host and the Vice President. So permit me to clear the air that Honorable Yusuf Salisu Majigiri, who happens to be Honorable Member, House of Representatives, National Assembly Abuja, representing Mashi, the Federal Constituency, is ably represented by Honorable Bako Haruna Wadata. That was the correction. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, going by the program, like we said to the press, it is now time for the lead paper presentation, and the first presenter is Professor Sheikh A. Abdullah, OON, Emeritus Professor of Business Administration and Finance. Like it was said, we are mentioning who he was, not without a reason. Former HOD, former Dean, former Director, former Dean, former DG, former Minister, and currently serving Pro-Chancellor in 2 universities. We are trying to encourage our younger ones to believe that sky is always the limit. It is in all cases, sky is always the limit. It depends on your own determination. So I have the honor to invite Professor Alhatu Mohammed Jumari, who will read the citation of Professor Sheikh A. Abdullah. OON.
Mr. Chairman, sir, the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Minister of Works, His Royal Highness, other distinguished invitees, good morning. It is my singular honor and privilege to stand before you to read the citation of a highly esteemed scholar, a public servant, a nation builder, a teacher, a mentor, and a community leader, Professor Sheikh Ahmad Abdullah, OON, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council, University of Abuja, and our lead paper presenter. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished invitees, Professor Sheikh Abdullah was born on the 15th of March, 1948. Okay, it's a encounter that, sir. He was born on 15 March 1948. Professor Abdullah is a professor of finance and investment management, a renowned academic and administrator whose contribution has significantly shaped the intellectual and governance landscape of Nigeria. He has held many strategic roles, most notably as Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In that capacity, he championed the policies that improve food security, agro-business investment, and rural livelihood across the nation. Before his ministerial appointment, Professor Abdullah served with distinction as the Director General of the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCO, in Badagry, where he was instrumental in repositioning the institution as a national center of excellence for public sector training and reform. He has served as a consultant of UNDP and NDPAT on capacity development initiative, and notably as the chairperson of the African Management Institute Network. Sheikh was head of Department Business of Administration 2 times, 1 time Dean of the Faculty of Administration, and also 1 time Director of the Institute of Administration. He is a committed scholar and thought leader. Professor Abdullah is widely published in the field of finance, investment, and governance. His career has earned him not only academic admiration, but also national recognition, including the prestigious National Award of Office of the Order of Nigeria, OON, by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is also a holder of the revered traditional titles, Magajingaru Nupe, and Wake of Badagry Kingdom, testifying to his grassroots influence and community leadership and respect. Today, we are deeply privileged to welcome him as the lead paper presenter to this conference, a role for which he is eminently overqualified. Please, may I, with the permission of the chairman, beg the indulgence of the guests to please rise up and join me in warmly welcome Professor Sheikh Ahmad Abdallah, OON, as he delivers the lead paper at the National Conference. Professor.
Not now. This one is live. The subsequent one we're taking. That's it. Yeah. It's also being recorded. This one is live. This is live.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على نبي الكريم أما بعد. In the usual manner and is usually a treat for two benefits. The first one, you adopt existing protocol. Many of you don't know why. One reason is to avoid difficulty pronouncing names. So I use that trick to adopt the existing protocol. Not in this respect, but I think in other places. I'm trying to tell you the wisdom when you adopt existing protocol. No embarrassment of pronunciation name. But the second trick is when you are given time to present paper. You save time by not attending to the elongation of relevancies. Because the protocols are simply elongations of relevancies. So permit me to therefore use these two tricks by adopting the existing protocol. Two apologies and one pleasure to share. One apology is the fact that I'm not able to remain standing for a long time. That there's nothing like a good decision, and there's nothing like a bad decision. A decision is good if you benefit from it, and a decision is bad if you suffer from it. Therefore, there are desirable and undesirable consequences of a decision. And that is the product of governance. That I'll be warning. So there are three qualities individuals must possess to make ethical decisions in corporate governance. The first is the ability to recognize ethical issues and reason through the ethical consequences of the decision. The second is the ability to look at alternative points of view, deciding what is right in a particular set of circumstances. This is similar to the ability to refrain. In the issue of the earlier submission of the matter of the reforms, as the professor from Malaysia is talking about, it's a matter of refraining. For this, I can recommend or recognize it was Obasanjo that picked 5 of us to go to London. It was a result of a visit that came to form the issue of Servicom. And what I found in revisiting organizations, the leadership of Servicom, you know, those people they put in charge of Servicom is usually the disused person in the organization. And you can see a failure, the demise of a policy, the lack of seriousness in public service. It was that Servicom that led to the issue that the general practitioner will go to a hospital, will reduce the number of times you have to go back, that you should be seen once, and that is part of the thing. We practice it and develop them. I think the key hospital we used at that particular time were 5 of us. And then that time, Obasanjo used what was going on, Margaret Thatcher. It was Thatcherism that we went to study in London. And we came out with that blueprint. The leadership of Servicom, I wish I can remember his name, he used to be very important speech writer to Obasanjo to become our leader. I, as an individual, I will remember what I've benefited in terms of that and what I've suffered. I was used to go and dress like a man who have summer there with the parliament and the cap. I was searched the most in London because they thought that I belonged to a particular group. So many of the other Nigerians, some of them are still alive, they call me Osama because I was different among. But I'm trying to say it was in the effort of developing a model. I was among them, but I dressed differently. And I didn't take note that when the other colleagues Nigerians were being searched, I was searched the most. So the Nigerians could now realize I was the Osama bin Laden among them. I'm saying the effort has been a long time ago, but how much have we had is the issue. So, other suggestions that will come in terms of building, there is other three words again: localness, merit, and openness. Or forum. Localness, merit, openness, and leanness. That is the approach that you can take to go governance and building the ethical localness. At least you reflect on yourself. You are a sufficient model. If you don't look, for instance, I enjoy the style of most of us having long beards. It's a character in Nigeria now. The larger percentage of the youth is with long beard. So, but I find it in the inverse relationship to the long beards and the rascality that is taking place. Up to the level, one time in the